Morning, my name is John with Pine Tree. I have the great pleasure of being here with Supervisor Russ Thomas. Now this is quite an honor for me. We're actually in the board chambers, and this is like hollowed ground up here. I never get to sit up here.
Oh, don't let it go to your head. it's not all it's cracked up to be. People are standing down there and saying bad things about you. But anyway, I feel very privileged to be a member of the Board of Supervisors, and I take this job very seriously. And I don't know if you have noticed, but I always dress up for the occasion. And
you have taken the dress level of the board to another level.
Well, the reason that I do that, John, is that I became well aware back in the days that I was on the Planning Commission down in Stanislaus County that when people come here to the chambers, they often have their entire livelihood kind of in their application. I always regard it as a very extremely serious business that we do here. So I just have always felt that it was appropriate to dress accordingly and
that's well put.
Bring I think that's some dignity to the proceedings.
That's well put. Now there's an election coming up here, isn't there?
You're exactly right. And as a matter of fact, this is the week when the absentee ballots are sent out. So very soon, almost half of the election will be determined by the time that people send in their absentee ballots this week. So those of us that are campaigning for election, we would hope that our message has been received by those people that are going to be filling out their ballots and sending them in this week. And I certainly have, I don't know, during the last 3.5 years that I've been sitting in this chair, I have maybe foolishly been thinking that people are observing what I'm doing and that I've made a good impression, sufficiently good that people will cast their vote for me again. So at least that's what I'm hoping. And I just want to take this opportunity to remind you, my friend Mr. Hamilton from down at Ceres.
I have known him for lots of years.
But I am not a newcomer to these proceedings. I'm very proud of the fact that I did serve, as I mentioned before, on the Planning Commission in Stanislaus County for 6.5 years before moving up here. I was very lucky to be in the right place at the right time when Supervisor Terry Bailey was looking for a person living near Copperopolis or in Copperopolis. She was drafting membership for the Copperopolis Community Plan Advisory Committee. I got selected by that group to be the chairman, and as recently as last year was able to bring the document, the completed document for the Copperopolis Community Plan to the Board of Supervisors, where it's sitting in a pile of other community plan documents that will be incorporated into the general plan update that we're currently working on. So anyway, that's an awfully wordy way to get around to say that I have been involved in this type of activity, the governance game. It's hardly a game, but anyway, I do have no question about the fact that the people that are running for the District 5 chair, I am the only one who's had specific experience in doing this type of work. I also I try not to let my education stand in my way, but I do have a degree in business administration and a long career as a masonry subcontractor, working in the Central Valley and all over the state. And so I try each and every time that there is a budget decision to be made by the board that I draw back on my business background and try to help that help that decision come forward that's based on sound business principles and the business background that I have.
You know, if people are getting ready to mark those ballots, they're getting ready to mark those ballots, what are the top 2 or 3 core things that in your estimation that they should be thinking about?
Well, I would hope that they would try to visualize the person that would have the capacity to make rational decisions, that would weigh the weight of the evidence. And like I mentioned before, people come here with very serious issues for the board to decide. And I have always wanted to be perceived the way I perceive myself, as a deliberative person, that I never jump at one side or the other of an issue. I always look at the pros and cons and think about the consequences of the decision before I cast that vote. I certainly would, if I were trying to select a person for this position, I would look for those characteristics. That the decision-making ability is first and foremost. The background upon which those decisions would be made would be probably second, and just the overall qualifications. I wouldn't want to put somebody sitting in any of these chairs that hadn't been involved in community activities and community outreach. It's just inconceivable to me that somebody could just be thrust into these positions without having demonstrated their ability to make things happen.
Understood.
And I have.
Having been in the chair here for, say 3.5 years and have been a board chair and been passing, going forward, say you're reelected, what would be some of your goals for not only your district, but say that you think would be realistic for the county? Because we've got some uncharted waters financially for the county and everything else. What do you think some of the, what would you like to see done the next term?
Well, without question, our highest focus has got to be to breathe some life back into our local economy. We're dealing with a national unemployment level of about 12%, but depending on where you look in Calaveras County, it's over 20.
Yeah.
So the characteristic industries that we've always been able to rely on have been construction and development.
Yeah.
We've been a growth county, growing faster than any other county in the state for many, many years, decades.
Yeah.
That has imploded because of various reasons. But my background is in construction, so I'm sympathetic to the folks that are unemployed carpenters and bricklayers. I'd like to find jobs for them, create jobs for them as quickly as we can.
Right.
Another thing, looking more from a long-range perspective, is I'm very concerned about when I go to the Valley Springs Christmas Parade, and I've been privileged to have been asked to judge the competition there, and you look down the street and you see 1,000 or more than 1,000 young kids. In District 5 and District 1, we have this phenomenon of the young families that aren't really found in that great of abundance in the other districts. There are more retirees in the other districts on balance. Well, I'm concerned about what sort of job opportunities are those kids going to have once they've gone away to college, and hopefully they'll come back, but come back to what? I'm very aware of unrealized potentials in this county for, we think about, oh gosh, we've got tourism. Well, tourism is a very important thing, and the tax that is generated by the tax on tourism, or the TOT. But there are unrealized opportunities for the discarded resources of the mining that took place here. I mean, I'm working with a large integrated construction company in the Bay Area that are looking very carefully at the piles of reject material that came out of the mining. There's certainly some challenges with the reject material that came out of the asbestos mine, so that's sort of off the table. But there's a lot of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tons of materials. We can see that in evidence here, right here in San Andreas, where the Calaveras material is converting all of the reject material out of the Calaveras cement plant into roadways and stuff. So I mean, I'd like to see that campus over there where the cement plant was located, take advantage of the high pressure gas line that's there, take advantage of the power infrastructure that's there with a little connecting link to take Pool Station Road out to Highway 49, we could have a very effective and beneficial transportation link.
For an industrial complex,
yeah.
that's probably the spot, isn't it?
Well, it is, of course.
Yeah.
I've been advocating for a long time to put the Public Works Department out there, put CCWD right alongside. Because of the high-pressure natural gas pipeline there, we could be powering our vehicles with compressed natural gas at $1.37 a gallon instead of like what were we paying, $4.50 a gallon at the peak of the gas crunch. But the gas crunch is going to come back.
Yeah.
And holy cow.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I think for your district especially is you've had a local telephone company that's done a great job of making sure that there's broadband available in some of these very rural segments of it. And I think, you know, if people are looking at moving businesses up here or small high-tech firms, the Copperopolis area, the Valley Springs area, with the extent, it's pretty good choices to do it, places to come to.
Well, you don't have to look very far to find a company that is basically a success on the wide bandwidth. And I really, before I became a member of the Board of Supervisors, I was making my living based on my ability to upload and download information. I was working for a company in the Bay Area and doing sales and design for them. So you're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I have been deeply involved in the effort to expand the offerings. The term is to meet the demands of the unserved and the underserved.
Right.
And it's pretty exciting, actually. Do you recall when I made arrangements for those computer classes to be conducted over at the high school?
Yeah.
It was really quite amazing. I was fortunate to be able to have this arranged by some people who would do it for free. But there were 200 people that signed up for those classes, John. They went for 13 weeks, and it was just very gratifying to me to see the interest of people wanting to come in to get basic computer skills and to improve the skills that they had. So that's really very much of a paradigm shift that people are beginning to get their arms around, the capabilities that are coming our way in the realm of making a living using your computer. Pretty exciting.
And I think one of the things is, this is a little bit of a plug for Calaveras County that's unrelated to this interview, but it was, if you look at infrastructure for broadband, Calaveras County is way ahead of Tuolumne County as far as infrastructure. There's more pipe actually coming to this county. So you know, as a pitch to bring your high-tech firm up here, you know, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, well, it's certainly quite an amazing company. You mentioned Calaveras Telephone before, but gosh, when I was living on the Salt Spring Valley, they plowed in 3.5 miles of fiber just to one customer, me. And what I asked...
The return on investment was probably pretty low on that one for a while.
how much is that going to cost me? And they said, oh, nothing. That's just the service we provide. So my hat's off to Calaveras Telephone and those of us that live in the area that they serve. We're very, very lucky. So.
All right.
Anyway, John, it's been a pleasure. I'd like to see you sitting here alongside me sometime.
Oh, I haven't seen what the time commitment for you guys and everything else. It's you know, I think our hats off to the people who are willing to serve and willing to run. It's just you know, you guys put a lot of time into this.
Well, you have to like it, and I'm very fortunate that I do. I'm very proud of the fact that I've got my telephone number 785-2020 rings in my home. My cell phone number is 480-8968. I really like what I do, and I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to help a good many of the voters and constituents in District 5 during the last 3.5 years. I'm looking forward with great anticipation to being able to continue my work for another 4 years.
Thank you for spending a few minutes with us, and good luck down the stretch.
Thank you.
All right.